for $6.99 each.
September 21st, TV's #1 rated night of dramas returns.
When this community calls, we respond.
There are people who stand steady, who hold on to hope, who continue to fight for the good of the city.
Whatever it takes, every single day.
One city.
One family.
One Chicago.
Stronger.
Together.
Chicago Wednesday returns September 21st on NBC and stream every episode now on Peacock.
Later, Jimmy Fallon welcomes Jane Fonda. NBC Tonight.
On our broadcast tonight, with elections on the horizon, a federal judge made a new ruling. We'll break down how this will affect Wisconsin voters this fall.
Plus, summer is winding down, and one little friend in the air has been few and far between this year. Find out why some folks haven't been seeing as many mosquitoes.
And learn how young people of the Northwoods are making their dreams a career. Your local news starts right now.
Your local news and weather from where you live. News Watch 12 at 10 starts now.
Good evening and welcome to News Watch 12 at 10. I'm Jessica Jukic.
And I'm Michael Lodholtz. Wisconsin voters with disabilities can get help returning their ballots.
That's the ruling a federal judge made Wednesday, citing a federal law that trumps a recent state Supreme Court ruling and state laws that suggest otherwise. U.S. District Judge James D. Peterson issued his order ahead of the November election, saying that voters who have a difficulty returning their own ballot can choose someone to do that for them. The order comes after the state Supreme Court issued a ruling that outlawed absentee ballot drop boxes in July. The Wisconsin Elections Commission plans to meet next Tuesday, September 6th, to consider how to comply with the court's order.
Today, the Wisconsin Elections Commission asked the legislature to create a new division designed to increase confidence in election results. The request comes after ongoing conspiracy theories and false claims of widespread fraud in the 2020 election. The state's bipartisan election agency is seeking $1.3 million to hire 10 people and create an elections inspector general office. It would have to be approved by the legislature, which includes many Republicans who wanted to dissolve the commission entirely.
It was a great day to be outside.
Chief Meteorologist Jeff Weller joins us now. Jeff?
Yeah, hey guys, look what we did today, the last day of August, with temperatures up in the 70s to low 80s. 79 in Rhinelander, we almost did it. 82 though for Tomahawk, 87 Eau Claire. So a very warm day across central and western parts of Wisconsin, but the rest of us very comfortable with above average highs basically in the 70s. Out there now though, it's comfortable, right? Check out the Northwoods, we're in the 50s already, and the dew points are still kind of low. This air is pretty dry out there for now. That will begin to change tonight and throughout the day tomorrow as a system comes our way. So in fact, here the dew points currently in the 50s. Low 50s are looking pretty good, but 60 in Point right now, that's beginning to get a little bit more humid, as you know. All right, lots of clear skies out there currently. That'll be the case for us tonight and throughout the day tomorrow. But there is a little something over here. That will dive to our south tomorrow. For us, though, we're watching up here. A cold front is on the way. It's going to arrive for us midday on Friday with a couple of showers and storms. Our forecast tonight, though, partly cloudy skies with low temperatures down near 52. Your full forecast is coming up. Jessica?
Thank you, Jeff. A proposed ban on conversion therapy is moving forward in La Crosse, Wisconsin. Conversion therapy is the practice of trying to change a person's sexual orientation through spiritual or psychological methods to align with heterosexual tendencies. After a meeting for public comment Tuesday, the city's Judiciary and Administration Committee is recommending the city's conversion therapy ban ordinance.
The city of La Crosse making sure that the therapists here in La Crosse don't attempt to try and change a person's sexual orientation or gender identity, which leads to increased rates of suicide in a city with so many youth, is really powerful.
The Wisconsin Institute of Law and Liberty has threatened to sue the city, claiming the proposed ban would violate First Amendment rights. Even so, the committee ultimately recommended it for adoption. It now goes before the Common Council next week.
The city of Tomahawk is one step closer to completing a major road construction project before its annual fall ride. Tomahawk is planning on paving West Somo Avenue on Friday. Over the summer, the city replaced water main and storm drains from South Tomahawk Avenue to West Somo Ave to Sarah Park. The $1.2 million project has been in the works for the past few months. They are planning on finishing the project before thousands of people flock to Tomahawk for its fall ride. which will take place on September 15th.
A Forest County family is searching for a missing family heirloom. The Forest County Sheriff's Office is asking for the public's help in finding a missing wedding ring and band set. The rings were last seen in the Blackwell Township of Forest County on or about August 18th. The family is missing a woman's gold solitaire wedding ring and diamond wedding band. The ring has sentimental value and has been in the family for more than 75 years. The family is offering a $1,000 reward for the return of the ring set. If you have any information on the missing jewelry, contact the Sheriff's Office at 715-478-7737.
Some claim there has been a lack of familiar buzz in the air this summer. UW Green Bay's Dr. Mike Draney, a biology professor and expert on insects, says he can't remember such a nice summer as far as mosquitoes go. He was so puzzled he thought they may have their own pandemic. He says the population is largely dependent on the weather, and the weather this summer has been a blessing, starting with the late arrival of spring. Draney says this greatly delayed the reproduction of multiple generations of mosquitoes, resulting in fewer insects while out on the water. Sometimes the job isn't all that you expected it to be, and one Northwoods man made an entire career shift to find his true passion.
Luke Olnichek was a butcher for 8 years. Newswatch 12's Morgan Johnson explains how he shifted his career and started his own business as a private chef.
Right now, I'm reducing a Zinfandel wine.
Creating a fancy meal, a daily routine for Luke Olnichek.
A lot of times I'm doing fine steaks, seafood, pig roasts, smoked meats, as well as all the sides that go with them.
From first sizzle to last bite.
Enjoy.
Olnichek is on the clock.
So a normal day at work typically means arriving to someone's house 2 to 3 hours prior to their dinner.
Private chef Luke Olnichek didn't always have that title. He was a butcher for 8 years.
This last year, I decided it was time to switch careers and do something I was just truly passionate about, something where time just melts away.
It didn't take long for Olnichek's new career to fall into place.
It's been such a prevalent part of my life, so I've been cooking since I was really young.
Now he appears at weddings, anniversaries, and birthday parties.
This would be a great one.
Olnichek starting a new business may be part of a larger trend.
Aren't there some things to help with these small businesses?
That's according to Nina Baum, who runs the Northwoods Young Professionals, an organization that connects adults around her age.
I've seen some trends with young professionals up here in the Northwoods, one of which being them coming up here to explore different career opportunities.
During the pandemic, Baum saw people consider new opportunities, specifically in the Northwoods. She says people her age are craving independence, something business ownership offers.
Being able to have your own business gives maybe that sense of control and ability to shape things how you want to and shape your own future.
After the shift in careers, Olnichek can't imagine ever going back because his reality is that he doesn't feel like he's working.
That old saying, you never work a day in your life if you enjoy what you do, it's real, and I didn't think it was real, but it truly is. I don't work. It's wonderful.
Reporting for Newswatch 12 in Rhinelander, I'm Morgan Johnson.
Thursday, a judge will hear arguments to determine if a special master for the Trump Mar-a-Lago case will be appointed.
Plus, see how NASA and SpaceX are combining efforts to launch even more rockets into space for years to come. That's after weather right here on Newswatch 12.
The sun is setting on Toyota's national sales event. Wait, they have until September 6th.
Get 1.9% APR for 48 months on Toyota's most popular 2022 models. Toyota, let's go places.
I worked really hard to save for retirement, worked all the hours I could, whatever it took. But Ron Johnson thinks we should consider raising the retirement age for Social Security and Medicare. That's a terrible idea. And he voted over and over again to weaken and cut Medicare, driving up our costs. Ron Johnson even wanted to privatize Social Security, calling it a legal Ponzi scheme. Tell Ron Johnson to strengthen Medicare.
Labor Day weekend at Crandon International Raceway is here. 3 huge days and nights of racing and entertainment. It's the biggest and most prestigious off-road race in the world. September 1st through 4th, the 53rd Polaris Crandon World Championships. Get all the information for this incredible weekend of racing and camping at CrandonOffroad.com. See you at the Big House.
We would never hit 12 drunk.
Clutch it up drunk? Not a chance. Do a stoppie drunk?
We would never drift drunk.
So you should never drive drunk.
Drive sober.
Or get pulled over.
The sun is setting on Toyota's national sales event. Wait, they have until September 6th.
Get 1.9% APR for 48 months on Toyota's most popular 2022 models. Toyota, let's go places.
Well, it's happening. Tomorrow, pumpkin spice lattes come back, and officially it's okay to have them around, right? But today, lots of sunshine with temperatures hanging out near 80. We'll do it again tomorrow, but Friday, a couple of thunder showers are back in the forecast, especially through late afternoon into the evening hours on Friday. Bad timing with football in season now on Friday night. Right now, though, today's 79 in Rhinelander, 85, though, for Green Bay. So warm weather pretty much off to the south and west of us today. All above average temperatures across our region. The average high being 74 now. The record high being 90. That was not in jeopardy today. And the sun set earlier at 7:37. Okay, so going around the horn, we're cooling off nicely now across the Northwoods. 50s, very comfortable 50s out there currently, but that's going to change because we have increasing humidity tonight, and then tomorrow is going to be a bit more humid across our area. 83 is my forecasted high temperature tomorrow, 84 for Friday, and then, what happens here? Well, a cold front is going to come through late in the day on Friday. That's going to cool us off for Saturday and Sunday. Now, it looks like the weekend is going to be sunny with cooler temperatures, though, in the 70s. That's going to feel much cooler before we get right back up again, 82 again in the forecast Tuesday into Wednesday of next week. Okay, Lake Superior water temperatures. I know you guys love this map. So mid-lake surface temperatures in the 50s. There are some bays here now, though, that have temperatures near 70. That's not going to last, as you know, much longer. All right, current allergies are out there. And again, the grass pollen's going bonkers across our region. So just stop mowing your grass. This will help that number. Weed pollen is high as well. If you're sniffling and sneezing, likely a reason why. Lots of clear skies across our state right now, and not just for us, for the UP, over in lower Michigan, also in Minnesota and Iowa, pretty much everywhere, right? High pressure is built in. It's not going to last much longer, though. There's a system over here. That one's going to miss us, but this one's going to be front right there. You see it? That's going to make slow progress toward us, arriving later in the day on Friday. Bad timing, I know. Peak daytime heating. Likely a couple of thunder showers along it. A couple of those could give us some heavy rainfall on Friday afternoon. For tomorrow, though, we're talking about 80s back in the forecast. Tons of sunshine in the north. Same story, maybe mid-80s here with lots of sunshine throughout the afternoon. Our forecast then tonight, though, is mostly clear skies. There could be some dense fog in there late tonight with low temperatures down near 52. For tomorrow, it's Thursday already. Lots of sunshine and warmer. I went with 83, but a few of us could do 85 or 86 tomorrow with that southwest wind around 10 to 15. And then looking ahead, your 7-day forecast by Don't Just Furniture and Mattress shows tomorrow. Very nice day. There's that chance for rain on Friday. Again, not an all-day rain, but late afternoon, just as the games get going. And there's the weekend. Much cooler with temperatures hanging out in the 70s. Jessica, Michael?
Thank you, Jeff. In Jackson, Mississippi, around 180,000 people are living without clean running water.
A new rental pump installed Wednesday at the Jackson Water Facility is slowly improving the city's water pressure. The Jackson mayor says he's grateful for that, which means many residents can take baths and wash their hands. But the water still isn't safe enough to wash your dishes or drink. It will still have to be boiled for those purposes until after the water pressure returns to normal. Right now, the facility is operating at less than half its usual pressure.
Former President Donald Trump argued in a court filing Wednesday that classified materials should have been expected in presidential records found in Mar-a-Lago. It comes after the Department of Justice asserted in a court filing late Tuesday that members of his legal team engaged in, quote, obstructive conduct by concealing the documents. The DOJ filing was in response to Trump's lawsuit seeking a third-party attorney or special master to review the documents. Trump's Wednesday filing acknowledged that classified material was found at Mar-a-Lago, but his legal team argues that it should not have been cause for alarm and should not have led to the search of Trump's Florida home earlier this month. The DOJ says the records are considered property of the government and Trump lacks standing to intervene in the investigation. A judge will hear arguments over the appointment of a special master on Thursday.
NASA is awarding SpaceX a $1.4 billion contract for 5 more Crew Dragon spacecraft launches. Wednesday's announcement extends a long collaboration for SpaceX and NASA, launching astronauts for International Space Station missions. The deal extends the agreement between Elon Musk's company and NASA until 2030, bringing the total contract value to nearly $5 billion. With the contract extension, there's increased confidence that the International Space Station will stay in operation to 2030. It's also clear that SpaceX has grown into one of NASA's go-to contractors. But Boeing's Starliner's program is still in the running, with plans to launch its inaugural crewed mission next year. High school football is off to a hot start for the Tomahawk Hatchets.
Coming up on Newswatch 12, Saul Meyer will explain how their homecoming football game is facing a new sort of challenge.
Furniture has savings up to 50% off list prices, or in some cases, even more, at our Labor Day sale on now. Shop our big selection of sectionals, sofas, recliners, dining, and bedrooms. Shop the huge Labor Day sale on now.
Here's Mandela Barnes avoiding questions about his unpaid taxes.
He stormed out of an interview after being asked about his unpaid property taxes.
Barnes also paid no income tax, yet Barnes supports Biden's tax increase on working families and an army of new IRS agents to audit middle-class families. Mandela Barnes, higher taxes for you, unpaid taxes for him. Wisconsin Truth PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
They want to talk about property taxes.
Whether it's for work or play, you want a truck that'll get the job done right. We have them all. Half-ton trucks, Power Strokes, Cummins, Duramax, SUVs, over 800 to choose from. Know that all Lenz trucks are fully inspected, certified clean, can be purchased online, and can be delivered right to your door. It's our way of saying thanks to our past and future customers for the last 35 years. Go now to LenzTruck.com.
Lenz Truck.
When I first moved here to Wausau from Madison, downtown was the very first area that I looked at, and I was shocked at the unavailability of housing opportunities that was there.
The mall as it is no longer viable. That has changed. It's changed across the country, and it's our turn to change what we have here into a new vision.
My hope is this is something that the Wausau community comes together to do what they always do, which is unite behind reinvesting in Wausau and making it a great place to live, work, and play.
Get up to 50% off list prices or more at our Labor Day mattress sale at Slumberland Furniture. Like this special purchase Sealy Posturepedic for just $5.99, or this ultra firm Sealy Posturepedic for $10.99. For your easiest shopping ever, Slumberland Furniture.
Coming up on your Thursday, we'll be continuing our back-to-school series with another conversation with Eric Burke.
All right, things looking pretty nice with another mostly sunny sky expected for your Thursday, but storms for your Friday. More when you tune in on your Thursday.
Sports Watch 12 with Saul Myers starts now.
The Tomahawk High School football team has had a Cinderella-like start to their season, upsetting Rhinelander at Mike Webster and then beating Lakeland Union for the first time since 2003. However, this Cinderella team may have just lost their chance to go to the ball this year, as the Menominee Indian High School football team has canceled their game with the Hatchets on October 7th. That game holds significance to Tomahawk because it's their homecoming game. This comes after Menominee Indian canceled the majority of their games for this season and have now canceled the remaining games, including one against Northland Pines. As of right now, Tomahawk and Northland Pines are still looking for a replacement opponent. After 4 consecutive losing seasons, the University of Wisconsin Stevens Point football program decided that a change in leadership was in order. So on April 25th of 2022, UW Oshkosh offensive coordinator Luke Vinay was announced as Pointer's new head coach, and since then has been remodeling the program.
It's been a real enjoyable process. You know, we've had 2 weeks and a couple days really of camp, and these guys have done a great job of getting better every day.
After a disappointing 2-8 season in 2021, UW Stevens Point was in need of an immediate culture change. Vinay said the team has made great progress from where they were last season.
From where we were on day one, even we had a scrimmage against Loras College down in Iowa to where we are now. I think we're a lot better football team, and excited to get out there in front of people and show off. And these guys have a chance to show off what the work they put into this thing.
The Pointers will kick off this year's season this upcoming Saturday, September 3rd, at home against Mayville State at 6 p.m. After a rough stretch, the Brewers look to be back to their winning ways. That was until they dropped last night's game to the Pirates 4-2, but that loss evened up the series, so we've got another rubber match on our hands. Let's see if the Crew could take the series. Here in the fourth, it was the Pirates who struck first with this solo shot to right center to give them the early 1-0 lead. Don't worry, though, because 1 inning later, Willie Adames is able to tie it up with a 1-run double here. The right fielder almost got to it, but no out means more runs for the Crew. And they didn't stop there. Here in the sixth, a little sacrifice from Omar Narvaez to give them the lead. They're up 2-1 now. 1 inning later, Keston Hira is bringing in some runs. This one coming off an RBI single to make it 3-1 now off the bizarre play from short. Later that inning, we've got more sacrifice highlights. This one's coming from Luis Urias. His sac fly brings in yet another run. Now, we're not going to show a walk as a highlight, right? Wrong. Pirates walk Christian Yelich to make it 6-1, and that ends up being the final score. Brewers take this game and the series. Let's hear what Coach Council had to say about his team's performance today.
Yeah, that's what we did against their bullpen. You know, it was just kind of next guy up, pass the torch type thing, and they did a nice job at just kind of moving the line and did some good at-bats to, you know, took advantage of guys struggling to throw strikes a little bit and took advantage of that.
The Brewers are now 5.5 games behind the Cardinals for the NL Central title. They're back in action, this time in Arizona for a 4-game series with the Diamondbacks starting tomorrow at 8:30. The Packers have been making a lot of personnel moves lately, especially with the deadline for the final 53-man roster being yesterday. It's a lot to try and keep up with, so don't feel bad if y'all miss any, because that's what I'm here for. First, Morgan Burnett announced his retirement on Tuesday, stating that he wanted to retire a Packer and has now done so. Now let's move on to the 53-man roster, and I'm not going to say all 53 names, but one story that emerged was the releasing of kicker Ramiz Ahmed, meaning that Mason Crosby will be available. A key addition was the signing of veteran safety Rudy Ford, who will be replacing Micah Abernathy after the team announced he would be released earlier today. Well, Jessica, I tried my best, but didn't make the team, unfortunately. But don't worry, though. I'll be back again next year for tryouts, and I'll work on my hands a little bit.
Better luck next year. Thank you, Saul. Bed Bath & Beyond is shutting down hundreds of locations.
And 2 historical societies in the Northwoods are collaborating to offer tours. Coming up on Newswatch 12.
This portion of News Watch 12 is brought to you by Northwoods Furniture, Eagle River.
Hi, Bob Pucci for Take Kid Hunting Foundation. We're having the Eagle River Gun Show this weekend at the Ice Arena on Highway 70. Admission is $7, 14 under are free. Show hours are Friday from 3 p.m. to 8, Saturday 9 to 5, and Sunday 9 to 3.
Like most people, I bust my butt day in and day out. I earn every dime of my paycheck. It's the Wisconsin way.
But Governor Tony Evers supports paying welfare benefits to people who won't work, even after they turn down job offers.
That's a disgrace.
That's a disgrace.
It's a slap in the face to hardworking people like us.
Tony Evers should know better.
Tony Evers should know better, but he doesn't.
Tony Evers, our failed liberal governor.
Hypnotize your way to savings.
Breathing techniques to help you save.
Looking to make saving a habit?
Yeah, what's the secret?
No secret. Just open a savings account at BMO and we'll give you a cash reward for every month you save.
A cash reward?
Just for saving?
Mm-hmm. And when you open a checking account, we'll give you a $300 bonus to get your new savings habit started.
Love that.
What's your book?
How to get a $300 bonus and a monthly cash reward for saving with BMO.
He literally wrote the book on saving.
Has me on the cover.
When a bank helps you make real financial progress, that's the BMO effect.
At Big Valley Ford, we have a great selection of gently used trucks, SUVs, and cars. And we are ready to help you find the right vehicle to explore the North Woods. Big Valley Ford is passionate about every vehicle that enters our service center, and our team of technicians are here to help with all of your service needs. Whether you are looking for a new or used vehicle or need to get your current ride back on the road, stop into Big Valley Ford in Ewan, Michigan, and experience the Big Valley difference.
Westside Market Discount Store is a veteran-owned shop with a wide variety of items and a great selection of gluten-free products. Westside Market, find them on Facebook.
Winter's coming. Fight back against rust and protect your investment with Rust Solutions underbody rust proofing for vehicles, trailers, and dump trucks. Call to make your appointment today.
Music every weekend, never a cover, and drinks priced right. TV, pool, darts, and more. It's Happy's Pub in downtown Woodruff.
Retailer Bed Bath & Beyond is closing 150 of its roughly 950 brick-and-mortar stores. That news and the announcement of layoffs for about 20% of its staff rattled investors Wednesday. Shares tumbled more than 20% from the news. Bed Bath & Beyond executives tried to calm fears about the chain's future with news of a new financial lifeline. The retailer has secured a $500 million loan, which it hopes to use to stay afloat and retool.
The Manitowish Waters Historical Society and the North Lakeland Discovery Center participate in a summer-long partnership on the Manitowish chain. On one of their boat tours, they share history with hundreds of visitors on their Clear Mud and Stone Lake tour. News Watch 12's Matthew Weaver has the story.
I think it's important to learn the history of the area, to understand where we've come from, and to also help us understand where we're headed.
The Manitowish Waters Historical Society teams up with the North Lakeland Discovery Center in an effort to educate the public on the rich history of northern Wisconsin.
It was so rich in history and eye-opening as to all the information that can be had from the Native Americans to the Europeans that came in and joined with them.
They take visitors out on a cruise to track Dan Devine, an Irish settler who first entered the area in the 1800s.
And they wanted to raise their family in the wilderness, and they did so by coming to Manitowish Waters in the early days.
Devine was a surveyor turned timber cruiser. The Historical Society emphasizes his importance to exploring the modern Lakeland area.
On the pontour boat, we talk about how the natural resources were used. We talk about the early pioneers, we talk about the lumber baron days, and we talk about when the resort era became a fabulous time to come north, and then when the families decided to buy land and establish their summer homes.
For the tour guides, it's all about making history known.
Learning history helps us understand the world better and enjoy today better. Because if you don't learn from history, your life just isn't as rich as it could be.
In Manitowish Waters, Matt Weaver, News Watch 12.
When our kids go to school, we want them thinking about this, not worrying about this. But Tim Michaels would allow guns on school grounds and let teens buy AR-15s and red flag laws that help prevent school shootings. He says they won't happen here. It's another reason Tim Michaels' radical agenda is a risk we just can't afford.
It's Northwoods Furniture's sizzling summer sale going on now. As the summer heats up, so do our sales. Find red-hot store-wide savings at both locations. We have it all. Beautiful furniture and mattresses to fit everyone's comfort and style. Save on select Sealy mattresses, Lazy Boy, and Flex Steel furniture, and more. Enjoy the summer sun, relaxing on quality Amish-built outdoor furniture, all on sale now. Hurry in for best selections. Northwoods Furniture and Mattress in Eagle River, celebrating 15 years in business.
It's time to amp up the fun at your local Ford dealer. The summer supercharged sales event is here. So stop by your Ford dealer today and check out great offers on select Ford vehicles. Then discover how Ford can take your summer to a whole new level. Hurry to the final days of the summer supercharged sales event for a great Flex Buy offer on Escape or Edge.
Hi, I'm Dr. Justin Scher, DC with the Spinal Aid Center of Wausau. Are you one of the millions of people suffering with the symptoms of peripheral neuropathy? Your symptoms may include numbness and tingling in your feet or hands, difficulty sleeping from leg or foot discomfort, and debilitating balance problems. I have good news for you. You can now get relief with our breakthrough treatment method without the use of drugs or surgery. Our treatments help to heal damaged nerves that cause peripheral neuropathy. If left untreated, you may eventually end up with a walker or wheelchair, so don't delay. Call our office now to schedule an appointment to see if our treatment methods are right for you. We will do a painless neuropathy severity exam to determine the amount of nerve loss. If you qualify for our treatment, it can truly change your life. Start living your life pain-free. Call today.
Lunchtime diners at a Wendy's in Florida were treated to a meal and a show. Hernando County Sheriff's deputies were forced to do some alligator wrestling in the parking lot near Tampa Wednesday. Workers at the Wendy's in Spring Hill were surprised to find a gator in their parking lot, possibly looking for a bite. Florida Fish and Wildlife officers assisted sheriff's deputies to take the 6-foot reptile into custody.
Don't know what to say to that. Let's go to weather graphics, though. Here we are. Temperatures are hanging out in the 60s and a couple of 50s out there. It's very comfortable. Low humidity levels. A gorgeous evening again, and the wind will go calm tonight. So a very nice evening. Looking outside now from space, you see hardly anything, right? Lots of clear skies across the state and pretty much the entire Midwest. That will give us a really nice day for us for tomorrow. And then looking ahead, this 7-day includes some rain in there on Friday afternoon. That's a problem because you guys know what football saw on Friday afternoon and evening, right? We'll make it a little wet this week.
Fingers crossed, knock on wood.
Yeah.
We did that yesterday, too.
Well, that's all the time we have. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Don't lose sleep by choosing a mattress from just any store. Instead, visit the experts at your one-stop sleep shop. Hi, I'm Kristen from Sleep Central. We're the only store in the Northwoods to carry all of the name brands like Beautyrest, Sealy, Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, and Serta, and all are ready for immediate delivery. We guarantee you'll find the perfect mattress at the perfect price. We also have a huge selection of bedding, futons, and accessories. We know how important sleep is, so stop on by and sleep better today. Sleep Central in Minocqua. Better sleep, pain-free, that's our promise.
Need to update your furniture? Menards is your one-stop shop with all of the latest furniture styles at the lowest prices. Plus, a great selection in stock ready to take home today. So go ahead, relax in a recliner, get cozy in a love seat, or simply unwind with a comfy sofa. Need more seats? We've got sectionals too. Get 11% off on your new furniture set now at Menards. Hurry in. These deals won't last long.
Listen to this sweet deal. Ron Johnson used his office to scoop up millions for himself. Like how Johnson secured a special tax break that benefited his own business.
Did my business benefit? Sure.
The tax break helped Johnson double his wealth. And the cherry on top? It's helped make him the 5th richest senator in Washington. Ron Johnson's not looking out for Wisconsin. He's out for himself. DSCC is responsible for the content of this ad.
It's time to amp up the fun at your local Ford dealer. The summer supercharged sales event is here. So stop by your Ford dealer today and check out great offers on select Ford vehicles. Then discover how Ford can take your summer to a whole new level. Hurry to the final days of the summer supercharged sales event for a great flex buy.